What is going on? Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Transparent Tuesday. I'm your host, Frances Dupree. I'm super excited about tonight. I told you guys that God has given me a new vision for Transparent Tuesday. Last year, when I first birthed Transparent Tuesday, it was more centered and focused on the healing of women. But as you all know, women are not the only ones that need to be healed. Men need to be healed as well, just as well as young adults. A lot of times, our hurt, our pain, our trials start when we're kids. And some fail to realize that young boys go through things just as well as young girls. So I have my first male guest today, Mr. William Winfield. He is our guest tonight, also known as the man with the secret sauce, speaker, coach, motivator. And I'm going to bring him on. So he's going to share his testimony with us tonight. And we're going to talk about a couple different things. So you guys tune in, make sure you like and you share. As I always say, you never know which topic may transform your life. Good evening. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for being on Transparent Tuesday. It's truly appreciated. You are the first male guest that I'm having. I have a new vision for Transparent Tuesday this year. It's for it to be centered towards the whole audience, not just women based, men based, young adult based. So that's why I asked you to come on so you're able to share your testimony with us, because I believe that there's healing in everyone's testimony. We all go through different trials, tribulations, deserts, places in our lives. And we may not go through the same thing, but we might have hit the same corner as someone. So you never know how your testimony might heal somebody else.
I love
So
it.
can you share our testimony with us? And I introduced you, but you can reintroduce yourself again.
Oh no. You good, Queen. Man, I don't even know where to start, but I think I'm gonna start right here. So, what was the turning point for me was I was working at in Franklin, Massachusetts, and when I was working out there, I remember going into work, but this day didn't feel normal. I felt like something was going to happen. I didn't know if it was going to be good or bad. Right. So I go in, and I go all the way to the back. And, people are doing refrigerators. I got this PDA and I'm scanning, the different type of refrigerators. And, as I'm scanning right here, do you love me? Like, where is that coming from? Right. I thought it was just mind playing tricks on me. And then, I go about my business again, and then I hear it, love me. I'm like, okay, this is weird. Like I've never heard this type of voice. And my supervisor at the time comes down on a forklift and he beeps the horn. He like, beep beep. He like, because he was a Mexican. He like, Will, Phil need to see you in the office. I said, what's going on? He said, I don't know. He said, Phil just want to see you. I said, okay, cool. So I'm walking to my boss's office named Phil. I remember opening the door. As soon as I open it, I hear, do you love me? And for the third time, I'm like, okay, this is crazy. Like I've never heard this in my life. And as I walk into the office, my boss is there on the computer. He turns around in his chair and he said, Will, how are you doing? I said, I'm doing good, Phil. How are you? He said, I'm doing all right. We had a meeting and, unfortunately, we had to make some cuts. I said, well, cool. I mean, cut the people you need to cut. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I do my work, show up on time. And he was like, well, unfortunately, we got to cut you too. I said, what you mean? I said, I've been here working hard for 3+ years. You know what I'm saying? I'm a faithful worker. And he was like, so when he did that, I remember getting in my 2003 Nissan Maxima, driving all the way from Franklin, Massachusetts to Rhode Island, tears coming down my face because I had my mom to take care of, I had my son to take care of, and I had my baby mother to take care of at the time. My mom lived with me. She was on Section 8. Section 8 lived with me to take care of her. And, as I'm getting home and I pull into the driveway, I don't know, I can't explain what's happening. I don't know how to do it. I just had a bunch of weight on my shoulder, tears coming down my face. I don't know how I'm going to explain this. I'm only 22 years old. How am I going to explain this to my family? And I'm taking care of everything. And as I get in the house, I sit down on the couch with my work clothes on. And my mom was like, she comes over to North Carolina. She like, what's the matter? I said, I don't really talk about it. I'm looking at this TV, we rented 65-inch TV. I'm looking at this about to be gone. You know what I'm saying? This whole place about to be empty. I ain't got no money to be able to take care of this family right now. And unfortunately, I lost the house. I had the car. My mom became home. She eventually ended up staying with one of her best friends at the time. And I'm still out. I'm sleeping in my car, trying to figure out how I'm going to get a job. I'm going to pay for things. I remember picking up my phone and calling my friend Gilbert Augusta. And when I called him, I said, yo, Gil, I need a place to stay. He was like, what's going on? I said, I lost my job. I'm not working no more. I need a place to stay to get on my feet. And he said to me, he said, bet, got you. Say less. I said, but I ain't got no money now. I said, I may get unemployment. I don't know. Said, no, don't worry about it. Come stay with me. I'll take care of it. I said, okay, cool. So they allowed me to park my car in their parking lot. And I stayed there for about, say, maybe 6 months over there.
Mhm.
And, me, not listening to anything. I was still going to house parties. You know what I'm saying? I was a womanizer. I was drinking alcohol. I was smoking. I was just trying to be popular, right? Quote unquote, being grown, really being not myself. And I remember this one night as we were doing a pregame, drinking alcohol and just getting ready for the party. I had an all red hoodie, I had blue jeans, and I had these Nikes on. And I remember we were walking down the street, and basically all of us had red on. So we walking down the street, walk past this gas station, and literally as we're walking, a car pulls up. And when the car pulls up, they're looking at us. Like as we're walking, they're driving slowly. To them, it looks like we're somebody who fits the description of a certain gang around the area. We ain't into no gangs. We just, want to go party, mess with girls and stuff like that. And literally, my soul left my body. It was the craziest I've ever experienced. Like I'm still there, but my soul left my body. And God literally showed me everything that was going to happen to my life if I never served him. And literally what happened, the guy that was in the passenger seat pulled out the gun and shot. Boom, 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 boom. Shot some of my friends. I tried to run away, caught me and shot me in the back 10 times. And then as soon as that happened, and the car took off. Yeah, it
Wow.
was the craziest thing I've ever experienced when the car took off. And I promise you, I don't know if anybody's ever felt the feeling of death, but I don't wish it upon nobody. I mean, literally, like, the car drove up the block, came back speeding. I thought they were about to blast us, and they didn't. But I can literally feel death the whole time. So my dumb self, I still go to the house party. You know what I'm saying? I still go.
That was your warning.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, come on now, I'm good, right? So we go to the house party. We're in there in the basement. The girls are trying to dance with me, give me action and stuff like that. I'm like, man, I ain't feeling it. My boy Gil, hey, bro, you good? I'm like, nah, man, I just want to go home. He was like, all right, let's go. So, mind you, it's about maybe this time it's about maybe 12:30 a.m. in the morning. We just walk in the street, we're going to the back street to get to the house. And I can just feel nothing but death. Literally, I could die at any moment. And I remember getting into the house and closing the door behind me. I said, never again. I don't know what I got, never again. And I go to my room. I tell my boy Gil's like, good night, bro. I got right to my knees. I didn't even take my clothes. I got right to my knees. I said, God, if you take this feeling of death away from me, I'll serve you for the rest of my life. Right?
Wow.
And I went to sleep. I woke up, had a phone call from my mom. Right? Crazy. Right? And it's funny because it was Sunday morning. Go figure, right? And my mom called. She like, baby. I said, what's up, mom? She said, you want to go to church? Listen, I haven't been to church in years, Queen. I was like, man, sign me up. Come pick me up. Let's go. And I'll never forget getting into the car with my mom and her friend, driving to the church. And for me, I felt like I wasn't worthy enough to get up in the front, sit in the middle. I sat all the way in the back. You know what I'm saying? So I remember having this black and white cardigan. I remember having these tan pants and having my black, red, and white Nikes. And the ladies worshiping and the worship music just going in. They're going in. And I'm back there, just tears rolling down my face, I guess I was overwhelmed by the spirit. I don't know what. I was crying, right? And my mom next to me. And the lady stops in mid-worship. Literally, just stop. He says, you back there with the black and white cardigan, come to the front. I was like, I don't know what's going on, but I start crying even worse. Boogers start coming out my nose, right? I'm crying, right? And my mom's behind me. And one of the things that I know about any parent is that the greatest prayer that can be answered for a mother is for their child to be saved. So
most definitely.
You know what I'm saying? So my mom was just crying. And the lady said to me, she said, I don't know you. And she didn't know me at all. Right? She said, I don't know you, you don't know me, but God knows you. And she said, He's going to use you to do many things. He's going to take you around this world. He's going to use you for His glory. And your home forever is the kingdom of God. Never met the lady a day in my life. As soon as she said that, I dropped to my knees and gave my life to God and never turned back since. Literally.
Wow. Sometimes, unfortunately, it takes like near-death experiences for someone to fully surrender to Christ. Like I remember, I believe that, God was always talking to me, but when I actually paid attention to Him, I had my first son and he was a baby, and I was gonna like jump over this bridge thing because at the time I felt like, why are we here? Nobody loves us. And I heard God say, I'll never leave you nor forsake you. Mind you, it's just me and my son. So there's no one around us. Like I look around, nobody's around us. It's just me and him. So I know it's nothing but God talking to me. But unfortunately, we're so hard-headed sometimes that it takes that. Like for him to get our attention, it takes for us to be in a near-death experience for us to fully surrender our life to Him. And the thing about it is that when you go through things that you've gone through, like, this is your testimony now. So you're able to tell other people, like, when God tries to tell you something or you feel something in your spirit, you need to pay attention. You need to listen. Warning always comes before destruction. And a lot of times we don't listen and we don't know. So hard-headed, being prideful, you think you know everything. Like even after the warning, you still went to the party.
Still went. Crazy.
But as you said, for a mom, her greatest joy or the most answered prayer is for her child to be saved. especially, like your son. Like I have 8 sons and I pray over my sons and I want for my boys to be saved. I want them to have their own personal relationship with Christ. And I know it's only so much that I can teach them, but they're going to have their own relationship and they're going to have to surrender themselves. I can't force them or make them surrender and, fully live for Christ. Because it's one thing to be lukewarm and pray when you want to, read when you want to, but to fully give your life over, like, God, I don't care what it is, what it takes, you saved me. My life belongs to you. So I'm a vessel, and whatever you tell me to do, that's what I'm going to do. So another question that I have for you, men, and correct me if I'm wrong, but men are supposed to be the overseer, provider, protector. It's supposed to go God and then the husband and then the wife. But as a man, how do you fully trust God? Like, the family is entrusting in you. So how do you turn around and trust everything that's so important to you to Christ? Because sometimes men, they're so prideful, they don't know how to fully trust God or to surrender everything to him because they may think that they know everything or they know all the answers or they're just not ready yet. So how did you get to the point after you've given your life to Christ, but you have your family and those that you're responsible for and your business and all of that. How do you fully surrender that to God?
Yeah. So the first thing, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, it ain't even deep. I'm gonna be honest with you. The first thing that I would definitely say is that everything that you've done is failed. Like everything that I've tried to do on my own failed, literally. And I always use the story that Jesus talked about how there's two types of individuals: those who build their life upon sand, and those who build their life upon solid rock. My life was built upon sand, and it's clear that it was built upon sand because nothing was working out. But then
Mm-hmm.
I had that mindset that said, okay, Will, you tried everything that you can do. Now let God do let God do what He was designed to do, right? Which is be the rock. I started building a foundation upon rock, and that first level is faith. I had to have faith. I had faith in everything else. I had faith in other women, faith in acting, faith in weed, faith in clubbing, but I had to have faith in God. And so I said, if I can trust the world, why can't I trust God, the one who changed my life, right? I
Mm-hmm.
hold on to the experience. I'm like, no, like God, first of all, you brought me out of death. Literally, I almost died. So if you brought me out of death, surely you'll help me get out of this financial situation somehow, some way.
Right.
Surely you'll be a better man, a better husband. Because I'm gonna be honest, this thing called a husband, especially as a black male, it don't come with no instruction manual. Literally, you know what I'm saying? So to be in a place of my life to where I learned from other great kings and to be able to learn from them and how they treat their wife, being around that environment to where they talk legacy, where they talk business, I started being attracted to that. And when I was around that, I started to become that more and more each day. And it's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. It's like going to the gym. You always got to exercise your faith. You got to
Mm-hmm.
exercise strength. You got to exercise your hope. And I'm just a firm believer that faith, experiences, and then most importantly, a personal relationship with God. Not a relationship like me, my wife, my kid. No, no, a personal relationship with God. Because at the end of the day, God didn't ask me, what did we all do? He asked me what I did with the time that He given me, right?
Right.
Make that personal relationship. I got to make that time with God because as long as I'm continuously locked in with God, God's going to give me the guidance I need to be the man that I need to be, the priest, the protector, the provider, the visionary, whatever that may be. But then also understanding that when God created Eve, He created her to be a helpmate. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And for that to happen, you have to understand that. For me personally, I had to understand, like, a lot of times when we speak things to our wife, it comes back to us. And they're like, see, I told you that person wasn't for you. You didn't listen, though, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
think that the wife is definitely the prophet of the home, hands down, because the wife knows always. So to just have that personal relationship with God and just always seek the guidance of Him and just ask Him, hey, God, I don't know what to do here. Lead me to a script, lead me to an individual who can help me with this. These are the things I had to definitely develop day in and day out. That's what I would say to answer your question.
That is that is so true. A lot of times, when people get married and stuff, they don't there's no rule book really to marriage, as you said, especially being a wife or being a husband. But the thing is that Eve, she was the helpmate and Adam was supposed to be the lead. So, as you stated, the way you talk to your wife and the things that your wife tells you, it's important because sometimes as women, we see things that men don't see, or we have instincts and different things. And, men don't see it the way that we do. So sometimes it can be confusing, like, oh, trying to tell them what to do or something like that. And it's not about that. It's just that because we're the helpmate, God has given us certain instincts and certain visions, or He'll reveal things to us to let our husbands know, like, hey, watch out for this, or don't do that because this could happen. So it's wise when you listen to those warnings and to what's being told to you. So you're known as the man with the secret sauce. The speeches, the coaching. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, my main goal, Queen, is just to help 9 to 5 speakers, coaches, or emerging entrepreneurs, take full time of their freedom. And I tell people all the time, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with working a 9 to 5 at all, at all.
Mm-hmm.
People out here, they're faking the funk. They're acting like everything is good, but it's not good. Like, sometimes you really just got to step back and ask yourself, like, am I really built for this life? And, as a business owner, I had to understand, man, like, I said to myself, I'm not going to do what other people are doing. I'm going to do what pissed me off in a good way, meaning that I was tired of people trying to tell me I couldn't see my daughter. I couldn't go to her doctor's appointment. I couldn't see my sons graduate. I couldn't see none of that. So that pissed me off. And I knew if it pissed me off, I know I'm not the only one as a parent who has kids who wants to be in their life. You just may want to spend time with your family. These types of things that I very cherish. I don't care about speaking. I don't care about my family is the number one priority for me always. So literally, I just help 9 to 5 speakers, 9 to 5 coaches, emerging entrepreneurs to package their creativity and their pain, position their brand, and book more business.
That's awesome. 9 to 5, it's for some people, but it's not for everyone. Like you said, having that flexibility, especially when you have children and you have a family, it's important. Because I noticed that's something that adults will say, like, my mom and my dad didn't come to my game, or they weren't there to support me at my award ceremony, or they didn't show up at my parent teacher conference. Like, those things really matter to children, is for you to show up and to be there and to support them. So in this time right now, being an entrepreneur, I think it's important because God's given us all different gifts. We all have a part in the body of the kingdom.
Right.
And for some, it may be a 9 to 5, but others, I don't think that it is. And, we may have a vision for our life, but at the end, it's His will be done in our life. So it's what He wants us to do and where He wants us to go. So I think it's awesome. I saw some of your videos where you were mentoring um, the youth, and then you were like teaching teachers and stuff. That's an amazing thing, because nowadays teachers aren't like they were when we were kids. They actually cared back then. They would call home or come to the door and, how can I help your child so they're better? And now it's just like they're trying to run out the door faster than the kid when the bell rings.
Right.
So that's an amazing thing that you do that. Um, is there anything else that you would like to share, like that you would leave with the audience before I let you go?
Yeah. So, the first thing that I would say is, I tried so long to just talk my life into entrepreneurship. And my queen was like, no, I'm happy with my job. I worked my degree, I worked my mind off. And she's in her field by the grace of God. But I remember, really trying to just like, you can do this, you can create that, and then build a business on that. And she's like, no, I don't want to do that. And I would just say to some of the kings out there, don't try to force your vision upon your wife. I'm gonna say it again. Don't force your vision upon your wife. Let your wife be who she is, and vice versa. Let your king be who he is. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, don't compare with the people. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, just because you're a pastor, and she's the pastor, she has to preach because that's No. If she don't want to preach, she ain't got to preach. Her preaching may be different from my preaching. Her preaching may be, hey, smile today, or text somebody and check in on them. Never
Mhm.
your vision upon your spouse. Let them be who they are. You know what I'm saying? And the last thing that I would say, in the words of Dr. Miles Monroe, the greatest tragedy in life is not death, but living life with purpose. What I mean by
Mm.
that understanding that every single day God wakes you up. We have to remember the man with many talents, right? And of course, he gave one to one, and the one buried it, right? Sometimes we think of talent as gift, but sometimes talents can be time. God's probably checking on how to manage the time that's given you. I'm just a firm believer that every day that you wake up, you need to live your life as if you're not going to get tomorrow, right? So it's just understanding that the world needs what you got, but the world ain't gonna get it if you continue to stop and go and stop and go and stop and go. You got to be an individual that says, I know God has created me for something greater, and I have to be able to accomplish that because people are counting on me. Don't be selfish with your pain. Yep.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you for being a guest on Transparent Tuesday. Hopefully we'll have you come back on again. But thank you and have a good evening.
All right. You too.
Thank you guys for tuning in for Transparent Tuesday. As I said, you never know which topic may transform your life. If you would like to get in contact with him, I have his Instagram handle right here at the bottom of the screen. Peace and love. I look forward to seeing you guys next week.